Hello again, and welcome to Ross's Movie Reviews. And let's continue with the plot, alright? The Enterprise, being the only ones there at the time when the Klingon ship was attacked, they had killed the Chancellor. The Chancellor was killed in the attack, Chancellor Gorkin, and now the Enterprise crew must stand trial. Bones McCoy and Captain James C. Kirk must stand trial for this attack that happened on this Klingon ship. Now, they are sentenced to this planet that is so horribly bad that, that they only sent the worst criminals there. Alright? You have this conniving, evil bad guy played by Christopher Plummer, and he's very conniving and very Shakespearean. He spits out Shakespearean, quotes, and he does not want peace to happen between the Federation and the Klingon Empire at all. He does not see it as a good thing for the Empire. He wants the Empire to preserve its race, and he doesn't see that happening with the Enterprise, with the Federation, the relationship between the Klingon Empire and the Federation. He doesn't see that happening. So he is the one who is, and a series of other people are the ones who are setting up the Enterprise as a way to tell the Federation that, and the Klingon Empire, that peace is no longer wanted here. So you get this big complex quagmire, and the thing of it is that's the good storyline. They cared about making a good storyline in this movie franchise. They cared to make the sixth entry a good one. They cared to make it respectful, because this was the final crew. Now, this was the final voyage of this crew. Since 1967, they have made, they have been on television and in the movies. So I'm glad that they really did care about this series enough to make this movie good. Because as I said, the last entry was so god-awful that I am so glad that they finally cared, So, at the end, they have the Enterprise and this Klingon ship that is able to cloak. Most Klingon ships have to appear when they fire, but this Klingon ship is able to cloak itself while firing. Alright, in the midst of battle, they finally are able to destroy the ship and are able to get things, able to send a good message to a meeting that is being held at Starfleet Command. So, everything is set to right in this, which, is a message that even though peace sometimes doesn't look like it's an option, it should be thought of. the future should be thought of. And I think that that's the moral that they were trying to say, is that sometimes in peace, you may have to have war, but getting along and getting things done in terms of peace is far better than making war. All right. So this came out, and it was a complete success. It earned far more money than the last one. It was an absolute surprise. It was an absolute joy to watch. I saw this in the theaters. It was an absolute joy to watch. Far better than watching Star Trek V, which I had the unfortunate experience of watching in the theaters. And it made an impact on a lot of the Star Trek fans because it was definitely much more respectful to the Star Trek franchise than the last movie. This was a good way for them to go out. And they do essentially go out at the end. At the end, you see the ship follow into the sun. You see all the actors' names come up. And it is probably one of the coolest scenes out of the Star Trek movie franchise. You don't see that at all anymore in any of the movies. Any of the actors' names come right in cursive writing on the screen. DeForest Kelley would pass away, sadly. So would James Doohan. Nichelle Nichols is going strong. William Shatner is definitely going strong. He's probably the most successful actor out of all of them, of the crew of the original Star Trek. He's got, books. He's been on many television series. He's won many awards. And by the way, this movie did make a certain actor more popular, in Kim Cattrall of Sex and the City fame. And just wanted to let people know that. That's another cool thing about Star Trek, is that it made stars out of people, and they become very successful, Walter Koenig, still alive. The rest of the crew is still alive. They're still going. And, I really think that this movie is personally one of my favorite Star Trek movies. It's probably my third favorite Star Trek movie because of the fact that it just really did respect the Star Trek, the first series, very well. And it very much, it gave them a very nice, very respectable outing. And a few of them would show up later. William Shatner, Walter Koenig, and James Doohan would show up later on in the next one, Star Trek VII, Star Trek Generations, which would in fact be the debut of the Next Generation, which I will be doing in my next review. It would also be the meeting of the two captains, Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Captain James C. Kirk. And you would get a lot more good movies. There was First Contact, and there was also the new 2009 movie, the one that just came out, Star Trek, which was a complete reboot of Star Trek, period. So it was the only one that went back to the original crew. So, in altogether, this is a great movie, very respectable. Join me in the next review, Star Trek 7, Star Trek Generations, where we will discuss the Next Generation crew's debut. Thank you very much for watching.